What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have another Call of Duty video for you guys today. We are going to be starting off a new series, and that is the best class setup pubs edition. This is going to be strictly for public matches, not your search and destroy competitive matches. So let's start off with the class I know best, and that is the sniper rifle. I'm going to show you guys the KBS today and how I use it with the class setup that I use to kick some ass in pubs. Alright guys, so this build, this best class setup obviously may not suit everybody, but this is what I found to be the best setup for the KBS for my game style, and it may reflect onto your game style as well. It provides very, very good long range interaction, as well as having that close range defense if someone sneaks up behind you, sneaks up beside you, and you need to get that quick kill. So that being said, we're going to start off with the actual guns and the variants that we're choosing before we get into attachments and perks. So let's take a look at the KBS. Obviously that's the sniper that you're going to be using. It is the best I find for core. It's a one shot in almost any situation unless you're like hitting his ankle or something. But the one that you're going to want to use for the KBS is this stasis variant. The idle sway without this is very drastic, and as you can see in this clip, with the stasis and with the CPU attachment that we will get into in a little later in the video, drastically reduces the sway. It's almost pinpoint accuracy, very, very little sway. You can stay on target, and on top of that, when you go to hold your breath, the reflection after you let go of your breath hold is not very much. You can still hit your target if that's the case for timing and whatnot, and it's why I don't think you should use the infinite breath hold. Not as viable for many interactions. When you have to get those double kills, you can click, hold your breath, get a kill, come out and have that stability of sway, which is much more important, I think, than an infinite breath hold. Re-click your breath hold, dial it in. I just think having that control of the sway is much more important, as you saw in that clip. Without this, it's very drastic. It's the sway is drastic. You need to hold your breath when you have that much sway, and then when you let your breath go, it is the deflection of the needle of your reticle is very, very drastic, and I think that is going to come into play a lot more than an infinite breath hold will do. Now, moving on, we're going to take a look at your pistol. Now, there's an argument to be had for whether the EMC is better or the Kendall. The Kendall has more accuracy, 7 more accuracy, fire rate's a little higher with 7, and the range is a little higher with 4, but I find that damage drop off of 10 is much more important. You can drop I personally like the EMC better. It still goes as fast as my trigger finger will pull, and it has the particle amp to increase that range by 14, which definitely brings it up to the Kendall range, and the damage is what you're looking for here. The accuracy is not that much lower, the fire rate's not that much lower, but having that boost of 10 damage per shot with this pistol is it's going to allow you to drop guys much faster when they are sneaking up behind you and you need to turn on somebody. That's what I found. I like the idea that it's an energy pistol too, and it regenerates ammo. Just all really, really good features. Now with that, the variant you're going to want to use is this increased damage range, the Mulligan. It allows you to return ammo to your magazine if you're missing as well, which is very crucial for a pistol, to not have to reload if you're in an interaction. And then that increased damage range is only going to increase the range even more, putting it up against that Kendall head to head. So that is the variants that you're going to want to use, and that's the weapons you're going to want to use. Moving on, we're going to look at the attachments and what these guns have in store for attachments. Now, we've already looked at the particle amp for the pistol and the ballistic CPU for the sniper, so let's start off by looking at the scout scope. Now, I choose to use the scout scope strictly because the field of view is much better, as you see in some of these clips, and the ability to just have these precise reticles, like the precision with that distinct yellow dot like I've talked about in my previous sniper videos, with not much else going on, so that your brain can really focus on getting that yellow dot on the enemy, not too much going on, and then we got the sunlight here, very, very similar, having a distinct, nice, bold yellow dot or a red dot. This blue one here, it's a good idea, but if it was if I had a red version of this might be the best one. But you just want something distinct for your reticle. On top of that, like I said, the field of view is very good. You're able to transition double kills from seeing an enemy in the field of view around the scout scope while taking out the enemy that you're currently engaging. With the original scope, I find it's not viable in very many situations. There is an argument that it is better for quick scoping because it has a bigger body in the scope, except I argue that because they nerf the quick scope and you don't get any aim assist until you are fully ADS, I find it's just not a viable thing for most snipers in this game. And I think if you try the scout scope out, you will find yourself much more comfortable with sniping. That being said, I just think it's a much faster scope. It does say that the range is decreased, but relatively speaking, with the sniper, you're going to still one-shot at all ranges, I find. I've never had an issue with it. And then quick draw. Quick draw is not as noticeable on the sniper, but it does knock off like a second of, maybe like a half a second of time when pulling that sniper up, which is going to allow you to get some quick scopes in situations like you're seeing in these clips here. So that is the attachment setup that I'm going to use on my KBS, which is going to allow me to use some more perks that are going to be necessary and that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. Alright, so to go over the perks, the ones that I found were the most important. I felt that you didn't need a second perk. None of these I find for sniper rifles are all that viable. I mean, maybe cold-blooded tracker if you really want to see guys and chase them around corners with a pistol, but momentum, you're not really moving that fast around the map. Attack resist, you tend to stay away from enemies. You don't want to get caught in tight corners anyways with a sniper rifle. So none of these I found were all that viable. So the ones you want to lean towards are Ghost, to stay off the map while you're sniping clearly. And then the ones we're going to look at with some gameplay is the Marksman, which is the flinch reduction with the sniper rifle, which is key because flinch is so big in this game. I find it so drastic. And Dexterity, not so much for the switch to the pistol, because the switch to the pistol, as you can see, is fast either way, but the switch back to the sniper, when you don't have it on, it's rather sluggish, rather slow. This is only going to slow you down if you're switching to your sniper for a long range encounter, if you're approaching a lane and by the time you get it out you're dead. But if you have Dexterity on, when you switch to that sniper, it's fast. You can go pistol to sniper, short range battles, long range battles. It's very, very fluent if you're using Dexterity. Now, that being said, let's take a look at Marksman. Marksman, the flinch reduction isn't extreme, but it does pose a significant bonus for sniper rifles, especially with that scout scope. You're not going to be flinching much. I don't kill the enemy here, but as you can see, it didn't flinch much before I switched to my pistol, and in the sniper rifle, it deflects a lot if you do not have that Marksman on. So as you can see, these are probably the most effective perks for a sniper, and I think this completes the build overall for having that close range protection with that pistol and having that long range effective encounters with that KBS and that scout scope. You can easily take out multiple enemies at range with this sniper rifle. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. If you did, if you guys felt this was a good build and you like it in game, definitely drop a thumbs up on the video. Like I said, it's not the only build out there, but it's definitely the one that I use and the one that I find most viable and most efficient in public matches. If you guys want to see some more classes, best class setups that I use, definitely drop in the comments below which guns you want to see. I will post videos on those guns, and in the future we are going to do a best in-class setup for search and destroy and competitive type gameplays, because the perks are different. As you will see in those upcoming videos, you do want to use a different selection of perks when you're playing in competitive and search and destroy type of gameplay. So that being said, that's going to wrap up the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, drop a like in the comments, and don't forget, submit your clips in the link below. If you have any hot clips from any Call of Duty franchise games, definitely submit them. Try to make them as best quality as you can. The Xbox recording is fine if you can just record that on the Xbox. I don't know if the PlayStation has a feature like that, but if it does, definitely submit those clips. I will go through them, and on Sundays we will post the top 5, and you guys will vote for the best one, who will receive a $20 gift card to the console of their choice. So definitely tune into that one, guys, and as always, until the next video, stay on the bean. You do you, live life your way, because that is the way it's meant to be. Cheers, you beauties.